Wake up.
Wake up. I don't even want to see you wake up.
Oh, geez. I haven't thought of that
Uh,
song in years.
nah, neither have I. Welcome to the creepy corner as I peek my mic right at the beginning.
Yes, welcome. Welcome. We're about to get copyright striked. Our first copyright strike, Gonzo.
Oh, no, I actually do have one already.
Oh, shit. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
so sometimes I make videos just for myself, like
hmm
just to store videos on YouTube, and I set them as private. It shouldn't copy strike you or copyright strike you, but I got a warning. So I didn't really get a
Uh,
strike, but I did get a warning
gotcha. Gotcha.
because I had copyrighted music in it, but it's not available to public, so I don't see why that would be a big deal.
Hey, our corporate overlords don't like you, so what are you gonna
Fuck
do?
them.
Yeah. Fuck
Ah.
those guys.
So, this is the Gonzo Creepy Corner. Thank you for joining. We have a great story. Actually, I have no idea if it's great. I know nothing about the story. All I know is the title is
It can't be
my.
worse than the first.
Yeah. I don't think all of these stories have been better than the first one.
Yes.
I feel like we unjustly hate that story.
Probably, but it's funny.
By the way, I found out why that story is, like, as highly rated as it is.
Why?
It is kind of like a Jeff the Killer kind of thing where it's considered a meme in the
Oh,
no sleep community, and it's not
gotcha.
uprated for being good. It's uprated for being a meme. Like, apparently there's a bunch of cliches in it for no sleep stuff.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
And
That tracks.
it only took us 6 episodes to fucking figure it out.
Well, for the audience, I am on the spectrum, so that tracks for me at least.
I just have aggressive ADHD. I don't know what that means.
It means something.
Yeah. So the episode that we are the story we are about to read is my job is watching a woman trapped in a room.
By Verstahl. I think that's how we spell it.
Verstahl, like
It sounds
blue
like
stall, the new
it
battle
sounds like
bed.
um a Harry Potter spell.
I,
Verstahl.
Acua Centurium, Avada Kedavra. I've actually not. Okay, so I've seen a few of the Harry Potter films. I've
Hmm.
not seen all of them. I definitely haven't seen like the last 3 or 4, I think.
They're pretty good.
I wasn't allowed to watch them whenever I was a kid for weird reasons, even though I was allowed to watch Lord of the Rings, which is actually a lot more violent and dark, but
Yeah.
which I just
I
rewatched, by
mean,
the way. It was really fun.
oh yeah, The Lord of the Rings still holds up really well. It's yeah, there were a lot of things that are there are a lot of things that parents get scared of and arbitrary rules that they
Pokemon was
don't let
an
their children do.
Yeah,
Yes.
Pokemon was another thing because it had evolutions in it. But
Aren't we glad to live in a world where even the Pope is like, guys, you're embarrassing yourselves.
guys, that's
Evolution is
stupid.
real.
Oh, he did the new pope say that?
I believe the last Pope did. I don't think the new Pope has commented on it, but like it's been made a Catholic position that evolution is real. New Earth creation, yeah, New Earth or Young Earth creationism is stupid, which hot take, it totally is.
Yeah.
It's a really fucking stupid. I don't know. Not to get too religious, but if you think that your God can't have made something that fucking old, you're dumb and you don't think God is all that powerful. And this is coming from someone who is an atheist.
Yeah,
I don't
if
know.
you don't think that your God can do that, then really you're just saying that your God isn't very powerful.
It's yeah, it's kind of weird, but
When
it's a
if
whole
you're
thing.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Well, now that
Most
we've pissed off the audience,
yes.
we may as well get
Our
started with the story.
yes. Yes.
All right. 3
Uh,
years ago, I was looking at the local job classifieds online when one of the ads caught my eye. Not because of what it said, but because it said so little. Best I remember, the ad just read, quotes,
Job available, good pay, no benefit, discretion required. Oh man,
like, good pay,
that,
no benefits. Like, yeah.
that okay. That just sounds like you're gonna join like a criminal enterprise, or like this is like something like I could see being posted in like a small town in like fucking New Mexico to lure in illegal immigrants.
Oh my.
Like, yeah, we'll pay you well, not tell you anything about it, but there's no benefits.
One of those jobs where you receive cash in a manila envelope behind the
Yeah.
store or something.
Yeah, and if you
Uh,
upset your boss, they fucking beat you and throw you in a ditch in the middle of the desert.
like some
It's,
Breaking Bad shit.
oh yeah.
It then listed an email address, and that was all. At the time, I was managing a music store, but I had already started hearing rumors we would be shutting down within the next year, and the likelihood of a transfer to another store was slim. I had been morosely looking at job listings for the last few days, but this was the first one that stood out, if only because I was bored, and it was weird. So I sent an email.
God, I
Have
wish getting a job was that
God,
easy.
I know, right? These days, if you're looking for a job, you're gonna have to fill out like 15 applications at least,
Yeah,
and
and they
maybe
all
one of
say
them.
the same thing. They
Yeah,
all say the same thing, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to fill out your application
yeah.
again."
You're gonna have to fill out
I
all the same information over and over again, and each and
mm,
every one of those sites is gonna be formatted differently to be peak annoying.
yeah. Do you know why corporations actually do that? Why they have so-called ghost jobs?
Well, why?
It is to look good to shareholders that they are always hiring, but like they like even if that position is already filled or they just never actually want to fill that position, the whole point is to be like, oh, well, we're always hiring more people. So shareholders have a tendency to be like, oh, well, it seems like the company's doing well. They're always open to hire more people. They must be doing great. And let me tell you something, investors are the dumbest fucking people in the world. I feel like even idiot me could probably scam investors if I had less morals and had the right connection. They're really fucking stupid. But a lot of big companies do that. That's part of the reason why it's so frustrating to to apply for jobs is because a lot of jobs in the market don't actually exist. They're just corporate ghost jobs to make the company look like it's always expanding. I
And
mean, that's not the only reason why applying for jobs sucks dick, but that's one of them.
that's another reason why like websites like Indeed and other job hunting websites are basically flooded with those kinds of jobs. Like you can
Oh yeah.
fill out every single job on every page, and it's likely that maybe 1 in 100 of them are real jobs that would actually respond. I have
Yeah.
never gotten a job using one of those sites. It's always been going through a specific website, like a specific company's website, and looking through
Yeah.
their actual available job listings.
Yeah, they almost never work if you're applying to a job through Indeed or some other job searching website.
Yeah, for real.
I think they're like the only way I've found like any good out of them is to look to see who says they're hiring and then like go and see if there's an actual like application you can fill out on that company's specific website
Yep,
because
it's the only thing that works.
otherwise, yeah, because otherwise just fuck you.
And one thing that I've
You'll
definitely never had happen to me is someone approach me about a job. That shit,
yeah,
I'm convinced only happens in the fucking movies. I swear to God.
yeah, it's
Well,
incredibly rare.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
but yeah, one of the many problems that we have in life. Thanks,
continuing.
capitalism.
Yeah, capitalism. Continuing on, though.
Yes, yes.
Half an hour later, I had a response. This is how you know this is fiction. Um, tell,
Yeah,
telling me
way
to
too fast.
telling me to go to a particular office building in an upscale part of the city at a precise time for my screening. I went, and after waiting for a few minutes in the lobby, I was taken into an office where I was given a series of forms and questionnaires to fill out. They collected them and told me they would be in touch.
That's a great way to know you probably didn't get the job. It's when they're like, "We'll be in touch. Don't call us."
To be fair, anytime I've actually like physically gone to a place to be interviewed,
Yeah.
I've gotten the
It,
job.
that is true. Typically, if they go to the trouble of you actually going to a physical location, your chances are much higher. Like it's not guaranteed. I've had a few where it's like, "Oh yeah, we'll have you come all the way out here." And then like I told them like, "Oh yeah, I'm in college." And they're like, "Oh, well, actually, we don't want someone getting." Basically, it was a polite way of saying we don't want you getting a higher education because then you might get something unrelated to, you know, moving pallets in a warehouse. So
Nah.
I didn't get that job.
Those kinds of jobs, they really don't want you having lofty aspirations. This is a very anti capitalist episode of Creepy
Yeah.
Corner, huh?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Don't worry. If we get one that takes place in like Soviet Russia, we'll even it out a little
There
bit.
are a couple that I know of that take place in Soviet Russia, and those would
Oh
make
hell
for
yeah.
very good episodes. But I think they
I'm
are green
yeah,
text based, which would make them like a
probably.
little bit harder to find.
Yeah. That and I know this wasn't Russia, but it was East Germany. There is like an IRL actually happened horror story with that, but I feel like that might take too long to get into. And we're like 3 paragraphs in.
Congratulations, everyone, to the like. We're just gonna read an entire novel this episode. We're just gonna
Yeah.
open up and read it page to page. We're gonna read Lolita. I don't know why I
Oh,
pulled that one out of my hat. I don't know.
oh, that's a scary thing to read.
That's a scary thing to read for YouTube.
Oh,
Did
Jesus.
you
We
know that
would
that was
we would-
actually on my like college literature reading list, like as one of the books I could write about?
I believe it. There are a lot of weird books that get onto like college reading lists.
I did Faust instead, but you know.
Yeah. I I don't think I would have the stomach to actually read Lolita.
It's
Yeah.
I don't really. If I ever see that in someone's bookshelf, I'm always going to ask them why they have it.
Yeah.
Like I,
Yeah.
you know,
And the thing is like I feel like I generally have a pretty high tolerance to like horrific shit.
yeah.
Like like oh man, YouTube wouldn't like this word, so I'm going to use grape instead. But the Grape of Nanking, I can't remember the author. It was like this whole thing about the whole ordeal in China when the Japanese invaded and took the city of Nanking, and there were even pictures
Mm-hmm.
with it, and it was just oh my God, it was horrific. And like that didn't phase me, but I feel like Lolita might cross the line just because of the content of it. Be
Well, it
like,
is
oh
a
no, I can't do that
long,
one.
depressing novel told from the point of view of a active pedophile. So
Yeah.
yeah, yike.
Like I can handle like in-depth accounts of people having beheading contests, but like pedophiles are where I draw the line.
Like, can I read about like Unit 731 all day? It's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, like, it's history.
Yeah.
Is it horrible? Yes. But if you
Yeah.
make me like that level of uncomfortable, there's just something that's just more weirdly more sinister about it. But
Yeah.
moving on, I
Yes.
still don't know where this story is going.
I have a feeling he's gonna watch a woman trapped in a room. I feel like there are some neckbeards who would enjoy that job, but we'll find out.
Oh, Christ. I had
Uh,
almost forgotten about the whole thing until a month later I got a call saying I had moved on to the second stage of the hiring process.
oh fuck.
I was
That-
yeah, I was again given an address and time, and when I arrived, this time it was a different nice office park 20 miles away from the first one. I was met by a man who introduced himself as Mr. Solomon. He escorted me into a large room that contained a chair and a desk. On the desk were two large monitors, a keyboard and mouse, and a bolted down metal box with two oversized buttons on it. one red, and one green. He told me this room was a model for the place I would be working if I took the job. He described the job as follows. I would be working 7 shifts of 6 hours every week. My job would be simple. I would arrive at work 10 minutes early and enter an outer area that was like a locker room. I would have my own personal locker. I would store all belongings in the locker and change into the provided work clothes. I was never, under any circumstances, to carry any item of my own into the surveillance room. I was never, under any circumstances, to take any item with me from the surveillance room. As for what I was to do in the surveillance room, I was told that the monitor on the left would constantly show a live stream from a high definition camera in a remote location. My job was simply to watch the camera. Once an hour, I would get onto the computer attached to the right monitor and enter a brief log describing anything interesting that occurred in the last hour. I would have no pens or pencils or paper, and I should never try to take any kind of written notes about the work. As for the red and green buttons, the red button was only to be used if there was an emergency. This meant something on the video or in my workplace that required outside help. The green button was to be hit if I saw something on the video feed that was particularly noteworthy. I would tell other people somewhere that, at least in my opinion, something interesting was going on. Solomon stressed that while I was given discretion on when to use this button, I should err on the side of only using it if and when something of real significance occurred. He pointed at the camera on the ceiling of the room where we were. I messed that up. He pointed out the camera on the ceiling of the room we were in. He said the real room would be the same. My work would be observed, and other people were watching the room on the video feed as well. He said I was only a redundancy in case other systems failed. He then smirked and asked if I knew what he meant by redundancy. That's kind of an asshole thing to do. Come on.
Yeah, that's a.
Do you know what redundancy means, stupid?
I mean, he's also basically saying, "Oh, you're not necessary. You're just a failsafe," which is really fucked up. But all right.
Yeah, we're going to pay you well, but we're not going to give you any benefits, and then I'm going to call you stupid blatantly.
Yeah.
And
Call
tell you
you
that your job
unnecessary.
and tell you that your job doesn't matter. Fuck you.
God, what an asshole.
Yeah, fuck this Solomon guy. Or who knows? Maybe by the end of the story, we're going to be singing this guy's praises. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. We might end up with a similar situation to what's his face, the brother in that one story where the guy's wife was going crazy. What an ass.
Right.
I don't even remember his name, but I remember he was such a fucking dick.
Oh my god, he was so stupid. Like, we cover it in that episode. Go back and watch our My
Yeah.
Wife Peeks at Me Around Corners video. That one
Yeah, that
was
guy.
great.
As soon as he comes into the store, you'll know who we're talking about. He's
We-
such a fucking prick.
We get so fucking heated at this guy. All right.
Anyway, redundancy. You fucking asshole.
Yeah. I nodded, trying not to show my irritation. Hey, he feels it too. I don't talk that good to people, so sometimes they think I'm dumb. That's okay. Let him think that if he paid me good enough. Maybe this guy is dumb, low-key. Anyways.
Maybe, maybe.
The pay was very good. $35 an hour.
Hold on, let's see. That was 6 years ago, and the story is being told that it happened 3 years before that. So this is 9 years ago. So that's not too terrible.
That's a
I
pretty
feel
decent paying job.
I feel like it's a little weird. They're willing to pay 35, but not give fucking health insurance.
And then say the job is pointless.
Yeah, we'll see.
This worried me. I was already thinking this was some kind of psych experiment or secret government job, which I was okay with. But that kind of money to sit and watch a screen? My mom always told me that if something seems too good to be true, it probably is, and this was seeming too good to be true. My mama always told me.
Also, he works 7 days a week, right? It said he takes 7 shifts a week for 6 hours. So he doesn't get a day
He
off.
never gets a day off.
Yeah, I believe that was in the story, unless I'm mistaken. Um, it's somewhere up there. I'll have to go
Weekends,
back and check. Fuck you.
holidays, fuck
Nah,
you.
which I get it's no sleep, so it's probably something horrific, but like still, goddamn, man
$35
doesn't get
an
a day
hour,
off.
though. And it's not
Yeah.
like the job is very difficult. You're just literally sitting in a room watching a screen and making notes every hour.
Press a button if things get a little weird.
Yeah, if things start getting spoofy.
Wait a minute. This is just Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, the animatronics get a little
A
quirky
little
at
quirky at
night.
night. Shut the fuck up.
uh,
But
I
yeah.
I asked if I was going to be doing anything illegal. Solomon laughed and said no. Ha 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 ha. I asked if anyone was going to get hurt. Again, he shook his head no. He said the reason they were paying so much was because they needed employees that were motivated to be professional and discreet. The
Well, give me
work.
my fucking health care, boy. I'll be professional.
How about you give me dental then, fuckface?
Uh,
The work they were doing was important, and for various reasons, it couldn't be discussed. If I took the job, I would have to sign papers promising I would never discuss my work there, or could be sued or locked up. By a
oh, quick,
company? Fuck you.
quick aside. NDAs do not hold up to scrutiny. Like they do not hold up legally. If a company forces you to sign an NDA, do not let that intimidate you. They are tossed out of court all the time.
Yeah, if
Like they're yeah.
even if you signed an NDA, if the thing that the company is trying to keep you quiet about was illegal, it doesn't matter.
Mhm. Oh yeah, NDAs are completely even those that like even an NDA that could be legal is thrown out of the way if like they tell you to keep quiet about breaking a law. Like it's like contracts in general, and I think contract law is actually kind of interesting because I'm fucking weird. But like you can't have any legally binding agreement about something that is illegal. It's like when it's like it's part of the reason I think it was like so funny when what's her face and The Sopranos divorce uh tried to divorce him. It's like you're trying to get illegally obtained assets using the legal system. That's not how that fucking
Yeah,
works.
yeah, that's not how it
Like,
works.
but yeah,
You're only
contracts.
gonna get half of what has been legally divulged to exist within the bank accounts and assets of
Yeah,
so and so's thing. Like everything that he has
and
illegally may as well not exist.
yeah, and like pretty much, and that's probably the majority of what he owns is dubious at best. At the very least, it would be seized by the government
I mean, like
so
Tony
that they can
Soprano
sort
never
out.
had a real job the entire series.
Yeah, like he was literally just a mob boss.
Yeah.
Like at best, you'll get the like vague shit like, "Oh yeah, I work in waste management" or shit like that every mob organization does, but like you can't use the legal system in order to enforce something that is illegal. It does not work that way.
Someone
And you
trimming the
would
hedges in in the background.
yes, my roommate decided that this would be a great time to mow, so I'm gonna go close a window real quick.
Ah,
I
it's
will
not a
be
big
right
deal. It's
back.
fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. And it's not even like that one time where someone was playing a piano and it was like, oh, that's cool. We have background music.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My mom plays piano. We have actually a grand piano in our house.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Anyways, continuing on. Uh,
Yes.
I'm only breaking that now because of everything that's happened. So, I took the job, and because they wanted me to start right away, I had to quit the store with no notice. I felt bad about that, but I was excited about the new job too. It was a lot of money and seemed like easy enough work, if a bit boring. I was nervous that there was something more to it, but I told myself I would just have to see. No point in chickening out and wasting a good chance because I let my imagination go crazy. I was given the location of the job itself, and when I went there, I was amazed that it really was just like the model room I had been shown, with only a few differences. There was a locker room you had to pass through to enter the surveillance room, and there was a small bathroom attached to the real surveillance room also. The real room had a small water cooler in the corner, but because I wasn't allowed to bring anything in with me, I had to eat before or after every shift. The biggest difference, of course, was the monitors were turned on. The right monitor was just a black and white terminal, like you see in movies sometimes. I could type in my logs, but no internet to look at or anything like that. The left monitor, it was a video from a room. You would call it a bedroom, I guess, because it had a bed in it. But it
Typically,
had.
those are bedrooms.
Yeah, that was a pretty retarded sentence, not gonna lie. Anyways, it
Yeah.
was a bedroom because there's a bed in it. Yeah, I don't know.
I think he is a little dumb.
Yeah. But it had lots of other stuff, too. Very descriptive. A TV, a sofa, and chairs, a couple tablets. Has this guy never seen a studio apartment before?
It doesn't sound like it.
Nah.
In plenty of empty space between. Yeah, this just sounds like an apartment.
Yeah,
Like
this is a
it,
studio apartment. Is he gonna be?
uh,
Is he gonna shit a brick when he sees the kitchen? My God. The camera must be high up in a corner because I could see pretty much everything except for the far sides of furniture. At first, though, I didn't notice any of that. All I saw was her. She looked to be a little older than me and was very pretty. When I first
uh-oh.
saw her, she was laying on her side on the sofa. That was the part of the room furthest from the camera. But the picture was very clear, and I could tell that she was sleeping. I found myself leaning into the monitor more so I could see her better. And then I thought about what I was doing and felt embarrassed. It's like I was spying on her. A peeping Tom, my mom used to call it. Mama. I didn't want to be a peeping Tom, but I didn't want to be silly either. I needed to think about it slow. I feel
Yeah,
like you're
real
thinking
slow.
slow enough. It was a good
Oh,
job,
Jesus.
and I wasn't doing anything wrong, right? I wasn't hurting anybody, the woman looked fine, and the room was nice. She probably agreed to be there, and it's all some sort of experiment or something. I was just overreacting. So I sat down in the chair and began my work. Quote unquote work. I mean, like, if you have some lobotomized individual, sticking him in a room, making him watch a screen for hours isn't the worst job you can get him.
Yeah, it could be worse. I don't. I get they like mentioned that there are like other redundancies, but it still seems weird that he works 7 days a week for 6 hours. Like I feel like if you could just have like shorter periods of work and just like interchange it between two people, and that would just be an easier and more efficient way to go about it.
Like,
Because if you
hire
have
more
someone work,
dudes.
like there is someone would be willing to work for $35 an hour, even with no benefits. Like, come on.
But how many people would be willing to work for $35 an hour, 6 hours a day, 7 days a week?
Yeah, like if you broke that up and just said, "Oh yeah, you only work 5 days a week," you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or even, just like three or four. Like people would take that job. Let's be real.
Yeah, there's somebody out there
Any,
that would take the job for 7 days a week too.
oh, absolutely.
Some people need that bag. Some people need that bag for sure. All right,
Hmm.
continuing on. It didn't take long before I understood more. The woman, I took to calling her Rachel. That's a creepy thing to do, buddy. Just
Yeah, that
giving her a
is.
name.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know. He might be a little slow, but he also might be a little bit of a peeping Tom.
so I
Anyway,
don't like peeping, but I can't stop myself.
Rachel.
Rachel.
Oh, this is gonna get progressively more stupid.
Rachel wasn't there of her free will. I never saw her hurt, but it was clear that she never left that room except to go into what I think is a bathroom area that my camera couldn't see. Well, she never left the room or on her own. Periodically, usually a couple of times a week during my shifts, men and women in strange looking outfits would come in and take her from the room. Sometimes she would struggle, but usually she would just go along with her head hung low. They would always bring her back, though the times when she wasn't brought back during. Oh, I think I missed a line. Though the times when she wasn't brought back during my shift were always the worst for me. I would
I
worry
feel like
about
that
her.
sentence is. I feel like that sentence is just worded a little funnily.
Yeah. I would worry
Anyway,
about her until I got to work the next day and saw her in the room watching TV or painting. She never looked hurt or even that upset except for when they took her. And even when she fought, they were always gentle with her. Still, I knew something was wrong. I considered quitting the job or hitting the red button and getting someone to come so I could get some answers. Or calling the police and showing them what the camera was showing me. Except I was scared. Scared of losing my job and scared of what these people might do to me if I quit or told on them. Solomon had told me when I took the job that part of excuse me, part of being discreet was not asking questions. I would never be asked to do more than I had already been told, but I could never tell anyone what I did or saw, and I could never ask questions about what I was doing or why. So I made excuses. It was an it was all an experiment. She was crazy or sick and they were trying to help her. She was doing a job just like I was. Or if she really was a prisoner somewhere, at least I was watching to make sure that she was okay. If they ever tried to hurt her, or I saw that she really didn't want to be there for sure, I could get help then. In a way, I told myself I was helping to protect her by watching. I don't expect you to think much of my excuses. I don't think much of them myself, especially now. But in my defense, when things changed, I didn't ignore it or try to explain it away. I knew something had to be done. Rachel would usually paint for an hour or two every day, and it seemed to always be during my afternoon shifts. The room had no windows as far as I could tell, but I guess she either used a clock or her own body's time to keep to a kind of schedule. I always liked to watch her paint. The thing she was painting was always facing the wrong way for me to see it, but I could see her face as she worked. This guy is a major creep.
yeah, like on one hand, I can kind of understand that if you're alone somewhere for 6 hours every day, you're kind of like the human mind is kind of weird because it always wants some sort of stimulation. Like if you stare into nothing but pitch black darkness, like you'll eventually start seeing things. Like your mind will literally hallucinate just because there's no stimulation. So I can kind of understand like he's like trying to like humanize this distant person who he doesn't really know. On the other, He really seems to enjoy it a little too much.
He's
It's
also
like,
clearly an accessory to a crime at this point.
yeah, like this, whatever's going on cannot be legal. Now, I'm certain it's a no sleep, so she's probably some fucking Avengers level threat or something, but still, it's a little suspect.
Sure.
Just a little.
She always looked peaceful and happy when she was painting. And seeing her that way, smiling serenely from time to time, as she got something the way she wanted it, always made my day.
Okay,
Wow.
yeah, that's too far.
Made
That's
my
too far.
day?
Oh man, that's a little much.
I first noticed
Yep.
something was wrong when she started painting more frequently a few weeks ago. Her expression was more focused and serious, and there was a tension to her movements that I wasn't used to seeing. At first, I thought she was just really trying to work hard on something, and I wanted to tell her not to worry. Every few weeks, the others would come in and take the old paintings out anyway, bringing in a new stack of, I think the word is canvas. This guy doesn't know what a canvas
Yeah.
is? Hold on, I'm gonna get a
Yeah.
blanket because my room is cold as fuck. 1 second.
I oh man, well he's gone. I'm just gonna say, man, yeah, I honestly think that the protagonist of our story is actually dumb. Most people would know what a canvas is, or at least the word canvas. Oh jeez. Oh jeez, man. Like I thought it was just misspelled and I was looking at the wrong thing for a second, but no, jeez. How
Okay, I'm
does
back.
how do you not know the word canvas? I just suspect that our point of view character is kind of dumb.
We have a room temperature IQ individual.
Yeah.
Um,
Literally coming from someone with autism, bro. The autism sensor is off the chart. Uh,
Continuing on.
yes, yes. From I think the word is canvas. Okay, either we're just assholes or that is really fucking stupid.
I have a low tolerance for stupid.
Anyway,
Yeah, but it was more than her being focused. Something was wrong. She didn't look happy, and she was going for hours at a time. In the span of 3 days, she had finished 4 paintings. I had been growing more and more worried watching her work, and when she finished the fourth, I found myself telling her to just stop and rest a while. I had grown accustomed to talking to the monitor, talking to her in my own way. But she,
italicized her.
yeah. But she didn't stop. Instead, she began moving the paintings, arranging them on the back and seat of the long sofa at the far end of the room. This was the first time I had gotten to see any of the paintings. Even when the others were taking them out, they always seemed to be turned away from the camera. I was still worried about her, but I was also happy to finally see something she had worked on. Happy and amazed. They were beautiful. One was a beautiful green forest, another was an old stone well. A third was a house sitting alone on a small island. The last was an old fashioned looking movie theater. All of them looked like something out of a dream, with trailing lines of color mixing in the air around them, the leaves caught in a wind. It was only when I looked close that I realized the lines of color weren't random. They were words. Easy to miss if you weren't looking close, and by themselves they didn't seem to mean much. But the ghost of a word somewhere in each of the paintings, easy to lose in everything else that was being shown. I leaned into the monitor and squinted, trying to read the words. Then my heart started thudding as I made them out. Blinking and rubbing my eyes, I looked again, reading them out loud in order. Left to right, top pair, then bottom.
Please help me, Thomas.
I pushed back from the monitor, my head over my mouth. My hand. Oh my god, I misread that. My eyes may or may not be kind of tired. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how any of this could be happening. It wasn't just that she was asking for help, though that was a big part of it. All right. It was that my name is Thomas. Hello. Let me pause the recording real quick. 1 second. Someone's getting my attention. It's not
Okay.
just anyone. It's my mom. Hold on.
Oh, tell her.
And we're back. I had pork chops.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Smothered pork chops with roast potatoes. It was really good.
Oh, fuck. Now I'm hungry.
But that ending, like, how would she know that his name is Thomas?
Some sort of mind fuckery. Or, I don't know, something weird's afoot.
I thought
I
about
don't
the
know. I
camera. Oh,
probably would have. I was gonna say I probably would have slammed that red button like it's fucking Among Us.
like, hey, yo, what the fuck? Yeah, I would have been pretty well wigged out.
Yeah, at the very least, hit the green button. I'd say that's pretty notable.
Yeah, for real. Well, anyways,
But
continuing on
we'll
to
see.
part two.
I have
There's
a few.
part two of five. This is going to be a longer story.
Yeah. Hell, I mean, shit. We might be end up just doing like maybe 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5 today. Because
Yeah,
goddamn,
yeah, yeah. We don't want these episodes to be much longer than an hour if we can help it.
shit. What are we at already?
40
Yeah,
minutes
sure.
about. 40 minutes about.
Yeah. We might be able to speed through this one. I don't
Oh.
think it's.
It
Yeah, it's
doesn't
about the
seem
same length.
like there's a lot of quotes for you, so I feel a little bit bad. So feel free to
Oh no.
interject whenever, because that's always fun.
Well, I can continue my IRL communism horror story, but from a while ago. But
It might
yeah,
be a little bit jarring given the context of telling this story.
hey,
Ah.
there. We'll find out.
All right. I thought about the camera above me and took my hand away from my face. I rolled back to the desk and sat there, trying to stop from shaking, trying to make myself take a breath. Think about it slow. The first thing was, should I hit a button? The red button was for an emergency. If she was a prisoner or something, and she was trying to escape, they might think that was an emergency. But no one had been hurt that I knew of. And I think Mr. Solomon meant to save that for something that was like a police or ambulance emergency, not something like this. But what about the green button? This was definitely something noteworthy. Not only that she was asking for help, but that she was asking for me, or asking me for help. I made myself stop for a moment. I couldn't know for sure she was asking me. I had gone to school with several boys named Thomas. It was a common name. But the chances of her painting that name when I was working here? I didn't want to be silly, but I wasn't trying to be too. Oh, wait, did I skip a line? I didn't want to
I
be silly, but I wasn't trying to be too. What's that word? Mom used to say it when she read her angel
oh
books.
that's why it's
Skeptics.
confusing. The writer ended a sentence with a period when they should have used a question mark.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
maybe. I can't. I think they were trying to write this from the point of view of someone who's not very smart.
probably, but like, oh man, it's bugging me.
It
Read her
is,
angel
yeah.
books. Are they talking about the fucking Bible? I feel like you can say the Bible.
Angel books, duh.
It's not. It's the Bible is not copyrighted. It is under fair use.
If anything, the Bible has been reiterated and used as the fodder for creating stories longer than basically any other work in the modern canon.
Yeah,
Oh
probably.
boy.
Well, some of the world's oldest literature,
Yeah, for
surviving
real.
literature at least. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I believe the Verdict texts that a lot of Hinduism is based off of, like those are probably the oldest, maybe question mark, don't quote me, but
Mm,
I know they're older than the Bible, but like still the Bible and all that encompasses is pretty damn old, especially the Torah or the whole first half of the book. But anyway, Angel Books is something.
yeah.
And she used to say it when she read her angel books. Like, not read angel books to him. Yeah, I think it's a him from point of view character, but
Skeptics. Yeah.
uh,
Who doesn't know what
again,
skeptic means?
like I do think he is kind of dumb. I
I'm
hope that's intentional and we're not just fucking
like
bashing the author, but
just
like
sort of like
goddamn.
gnawing at this poor author's legs like rabid animals.
I think I've
No.
done it. I think I've done it to like people before, but this reminds me of like in a D&D game going like, the big bad probably isn't actually doing this. It has to be like a feint or something. They're not that stupid.
And the
Just like
DM
the
sort of
GM.
like sits
It's like
awkwardly. He's like, "Yes, apparently I am that stupid." That has definitely
yeah.
been me before.
Oh,
But
I'm sure I've done that to people too. It's like, that can't be it. No.
continuing on,
Anyway.
yeah.
Yes, continue, please.
I didn't want to be a skeptic either. I had to believe it was probably meant for me, and that was something they would want to know. But should I hit the green button? My hands were drifting toward the metal box on the desk, but I hesitated. I didn't like breaking rules, and I was scared of what would happen if I broke these. If they really were holding her prisoner, then they were probably very bad people. But I didn't know that. Maybe they were good and she was bad. But I just I looked back at the monitor for the first time since reading the words. Rachel was already moving the paintings back off the sofa, as though she knew the message had been received. A canvas in each hand, she glanced up at the camera as she moved across the room, and it felt like she was looking right at me. My chest tightened as my hands moved away from the buttons. No, I didn't think she was bad. I had watched her for. Wait, huh? I
What?
had watched her
For
for years?
years?
I felt like I knew her, would know if she was bad. Strange as it seemed, in a way, she was my friend, and I was going to try and help her.
Okay,
What?
so I have a little bit of a theory, and this is probably a little crazy. I almost wonder if this woman is it can somehow pull Professor X and like mess with your mind. Like maybe she's some sort of cognito hazard
Mm,
or something like that.
maybe the
Because
reason that they're paying so much for this position is like viewing her for an extended period of time can cause like brain damage or something.
yeah, which would explain how the the POV is so stupid. I'm sorry, that's mean, but
No,
yeah,
it's not.
but like it would explain why he was like, okay, I didn't get the impression that he'd been doing this for that long. Like for years, that seems wrong. That doesn't seem right. Like I'm part of this is like, oh, like as soon as he saw her, he was like, oh wow, she's really pretty. And like she's just very beautiful and like has all these really positive feelings about her that don't really seem to come from anywhere. Again, like psychologically, I could see this happening, but at the same time, being genre savvy enough, I feel like this is
This is some sort of
some
wacky
sort of
bullshit for sure.
yeah.
And it would be
It's
one thing if
it
he said it has felt like I had watched her for years. That would almost make more sense.
yeah, because again, it's like. like we know that when at the time of posting the first one, at least it was 6 years. 6 years ago from when it posted, it was like, oh yeah, this happened 3 years ago. So I mean, this is at the very least implies that this set of events happened 2 years ago before the post happened, at least, just so they can say I've watched her for years. But like, I feel like that time skip was not very well implied. So it's just like, is there something going on with her mind, or is like, did this guy really just watch a woman for literal years without questioning it? And then as soon as she asks for help, it's like, oh man, I really got to do something. Like, I don't know. It seems suspicious.
There's some fucky
Honestly,
wucky bullshit going on.
okay. This is also kind of a weird side tangent, but this is kind of how I wrote the like one succubus character I had my players interacted with in D&D is that there's just like a lot of subtlety into because seduction isn't inherently sexual in how you manipulate someone into doing something. You know, you can be seduced with not just, that, but with power, with wealth, with all sorts of stuff. It's really just a matter of finding something that someone wants
And
and just
honestly,
sort of like
sorry.
and oh yeah, go ahead.
And
Yeah,
honestly,
go
the
ahead.
more subtle the seduction is, the more likely it is to work.
Oh, absolutely. If you try to brute force most things, you're going like there's some old proverb. I don't know where it comes from, but it's something along the lines of like any change, no matter any what was it? Like any force, no matter how well concealed, uh, breeds resistance. But like if you try to overtly change something, that's really hard to do. But if you're a lot more covert and a lot more subtle about it, it'll fly under a lot more people's radar. But anyway, like it's just it kind of reminds me of that of like subtly watching this quote unquote woman is like subtly really this guy over a period of time is just like, oh yeah, I'm really invested in what happens to her. Clearly not enough for apparently what at least what he believes to be years not doing anything about it. But like as soon as she asks for help, he's like, "Oh man, I've got to try to help her." And it's like, dude, you've known she's been imprisoned at the very least against her will for some time now.
Right, true.
Anyway, the if the company was being or whatever the organization is being truthful that they have redundancies, it is a little strange that no one would pick up on that unless the whole like unless the people know you watching again weren't really paying attention to the paintings and didn't pick up on the fact that Thomas is the guy's name or just didn't know. Which I feel like if she's made countless paintings before and never showed it to the camera, I feel like people would be like, huh, that seems important if they have other people watching.
The more we read this, the more and more it feels kind of like a Black Mirror kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm kind of I'm in the way that makes the story make sense, I'm really of the opinion that she's got to be some sort of cognito hazard or in some way she's not actually like a person.
A
There's
powerful
something,
psychic of some kind. Or maybe
yeah,
the fact is that she doesn't even really exist, and it's just the monitor. It's like some sort of weird cognito hazard monitor. Like
yeah.
the live stream itself is the entity.
And what like I seems weird to me, right, is like he has to go in with very specific gear and then like it's never allowed to leave he's never allowed to enter or leave with anything outside control. It's a very controlled environment. So that indicates to me that it could spread somehow if he did. So again, that's kind of why I'm like, this sounds kind of like a cognito hazard.
Sure. Also,
Yeah.
it's probably if
There's
this is somehow like slowly killing him or something, it's easier to get
mm,
rid of someone's things if they already have their things stored away somewhere.
plus it helps if there's less paperwork of them not having insurance and whatnot.
Like if he's getting paid underneath the table, there's no paper trail leading him
Yeah, if
to the
there's
company or anywhere. He can just disappear if they need him to.
yeah,
But continuing
shady shit.
on,
Yes.
I spent the rest of my shift trying to act normal and think of what to do. I knew whoever else was watching might have noticed the paintings or seen how I acted, but I couldn't worry about that. I would try to play it cool and try to think how I could help her. The only people I had actually met connected to this job were a couple of people when I filled out the papers, and then Mr. Solomon when he showed me the model room and told me the job. I had no way of contacting any of them except through the buttons. My checks were deposited electronically, and I had never run into anyone else who worked at the surveillance room. That thought made me stop a second. I had always thought it was weird that I never ran into someone when I was coming or going. The person I was taking over for, or the person who was taking over for me. I had always figured there must be other people, other surveillance rooms even, and they just scheduled us so we didn't run into each other. And I still thought there were others. Part of why I thought that was because it seemed like I wasn't the only person who used my surveillance room. The water cooler, the toilet paper, the soap, they all seemed to go down faster than I think I was using it by myself. If that was true, maybe I could figure out who they were, and maybe they would be safer to talk to than whoever it was that I worked for. I got off work at 8 and that night. At 8 that night, and instead of grabbing some food and going home, I drove my car around the block and then parked down the street from the building where I worked. Nothing had changed while I drove around for a minute. No new cars had parked or anything, and if I was right, they didn't send anyone to replace me until they were sure I was gone anyhow. So I sat and waited. I was tired and the street was pretty empty and boring, but I was too excited and scared to fall asleep. Every time a car passed or someone walked down the sidewalk, I tensed. I kept imagining an SUV or van pulling up behind me. Men getting out and pulling me from my car, taking me somewhere like where they had Rachel to kill or torture me. Half a dozen times I almost cranked up and drove away. But every time I would think of her alone in that room. She had no one but me to help her, and I had to try. Hero complex.
Yeah, that ain't good.
2 hours later, a fat, balding man parked and started heading for the building. As soon as I saw he was able to unlock the door and enter, I opened my car door to go talk to him. Then I stopped. I needed to be smart. I didn't know where they were, but I was sure there were hidden cameras in the locker room and outside the building. If I go running in there and confront the guy, they'll know for sure that I'm up to something. Sighing with frustration, I shut the door back and waited until his shift was over. I considered tailing him like in the movies, but I was scared I would just lose him or he would call someone for help. So I waited until he was walking back to his car after a 6-hour shift, hopefully far enough away that the cameras wouldn't see me. And then I met the man I came to know as Charles Jeffries. First
Hey,
quote.
hey, man, can I talk to you for a minute?
His back was to me, and he just waved his hand absently without looking up.
Sorry, I don't have any money. Have a good.
He froze as he glanced back at me while talking.
Oh, God. No, no, you need to get out of here, kid. We aren't allowed to talk.
I could tell he was scared, but I couldn't risk letting him go yet. Not after all this. I stepped up and pushed the door back shut as he was trying to get into his car.
So you know who I am?
I tried to not sound mean, but I could hear how mad I was in my voice. He yanked at the door again, but I was still holding it, and I was stronger than he was. After a second, weaker tug, he turned around and his face strained and tired looking.
Yeah, I know who you are. You work here, just like me. And I'm telling you, we aren't supposed to be talking. We aren't supposed to meet. Ever.
I frowned.
Mr. Solomon never told me that. He never said it was one of the rules.
The man shook his head.
Mr. Solomon. Yeah. Well, there are plenty of rules they don't tell you. I bet they didn't tell you what you were going to be watching before you started, did they?
When I just lowered my eyes, he went on.
Yeah, me neither. Or me either. I've been at this job for 10 years. I've seen other people come and go, usually because they broke one of those rules that they never mentioned. The only reason I'm still here is because I keep my head down and my mouth shut.
He wagged a finger at me.
You should do the same, if it's not already too late.
I felt my stomach curling into a cold knot.
Too late,
The man rubbed his face.
kid. Do you think they don't know we're talking? Do they think do you think anything happens that they don't know about?
He looked back toward the building, a look of sadness and fear in his eyes.
Hell, for all I know, you've already killed us both.
Shaking his head, he pushed me back and started opening the door.
Either way, I'm done risking it. You need to stop asking questions and just do your job. It's a lot healthier.
With that, he got into his car and shut the door. I didn't try to stop him this time. Even though I had already been worried about what he was telling me, hearing it confirmed was paralyzing. What exactly was my plan? He probably didn't know any more than I did, and even if he did, what could I do with anything he told me? I walked back to my car with a heavy heart. It was still afraid, but more than that, I was sad and ashamed. I wanted to help Rachel, but I wasn't sure how. I wasn't giving up, but as I drove back to my apartment, I couldn't think of what I should do next. This wasn't a movie, I wasn't a hero. And the only ideas I had left were to either go to the police, who might be controlled by whoever I worked for, or try to get proof of her being held prisoner myself. As I parked my car and walked into my apartment building, I made a decision. Unless I thought of something better overnight, I would do both ideas. Tomorrow, I would break the rule about carrying anything in. I'd use my phone to record a video of the surveillance room, of Rachel, and how she was trapped somewhere, and of me telling everything else I knew. And I would email it to every newspaper website and internet channel I could think of. I'd then go to the police and give them a copy too, if I could make it that long without getting caught. Maybe if I did all that, even if they got me, someone would help Rachel. I was filled with worry and dread at the idea of being hurt or killed. A part of me kept saying I should just do as I was told and hope that it all went away. But I couldn't live with myself if I did that. Even if I messed up, I felt like I had to try. I was so preoccupied that I didn't hear the person coming up behind me as I unlocked my apartment door.
Thomas,
I turned around and felt my legs weaken as I stumbled back against my door. I had to be dreaming or crazy. I grabbed the doorknob for support as I looked at the woman in front of me. It couldn't be her, but somehow it was.
Rachel?
That's a pretty solid way to end that part.
That is actually pretty good. It's man, this is bizarre because like I feel like it can somehow wobble between like the writing gets a little iffy to like that was actually really good. What the hell?
Right. I think what we're experiencing here is like a good writer who's trying to write badly on purpose to embody this POV character.
Hmm.
Like he's writing
Yeah.
simply because this is a simple person. Or maybe we're just being mean. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that is going to end this part. We will be continuing on to part 3, 4, and 5 in a follow up episode. So thank you all
Hell
for
yeah.
watching. This was really good ish. So
Hell
far, it's
yeah.
kind of a 5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. It's I feel like there's a lot of potential.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have to stick the
I'm
landing.
yeah, they still yeah, they still have to stick the landing. I'm I think that this Rachel, if that is her real name, has to be some sort of like actual psychic. Like which even then, like I feel like if she's able to read across a fucking through a security camera broadcasting to a computer, live streaming and get in someone's head enough to learn their name without any actual human interaction, I think that like she's got to be pretty powerful. I don't know how they've contained her for 10 years, but still, it's a whole thing. I'm kind of interested to see how they go through that, but hey, we'll see.
We'll see in the follow-up episode. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this, be sure to leave a like and a comment, and maybe even subscribe to the channel so you can see future uploads in the future. Thank you for watching, and stay creepy.
Or don't. We're
Or
not
don't.
cops.
Don't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're not cops. Have a good one, everybody.
See you later.